Amber leaves whispered across the asphalt as the wind cut through the deserted Pennsylvania back roads. Frost crept along cracks in the pavement. The late fall air stung like needles. A man lay motionless at the roadside. When his eyes opened, the world felt both familiar and foreign, like a dream already slipping away. He sat up slowly, shivering. His clothes were worn and dirty, as if he'd been wandering for days. But he remembered nothing, not his name, not how he got here, not why his heart pounded with a fear he couldn't explain. He pushed himself to his feet, staggering toward the tiny road town ahead. Milford, chimney smoked, antique street lamps glowed dimly in the dusk. People walked in coats and scarves, avoiding the cold. When they saw him, everything changed. A man at the gas pump froze mid-motion, staring too long. A woman entering the bakery whispered something to a friend. The passing truck slowed, the driver's eyes wide with recognition or shock. Some backed away, some wouldn't stop staring. Some old man crossed himself. It was as if the stranger walking into the town was not a stranger at all, but a ghost. He ducked into an alley behind the general store, trying to steady his breathing. Who am I? Why does everyone look at me like that? Footsteps approached. An older woman rounded the corner, carrying a grocery bag. When she saw him, the bag slipped from her hands, cans clattering across the concrete. Her face drained of color. "No," she whispered. "Can't be. Charles?" He blinked. "Charles? Is that me?" Her trembling hand hovered near his cheek. "Charles Donovan, you vanished 7 years ago. They said you died. They held a funeral. There was a coffin, a headstone." "I don't remember," he croaked. "Anything." She stared at him with grief, shock, and something like fear. But before either of them could speak again, headlights swept across the valley. Black SUVs screeched to a halt. Doors flew open. Soldiers in tactical gear stormed out, rifles raised. "Hands where we can see them," a commander barked. "Charles Donovan, you're coming with us." Charles stumbled back, panic rising. I don't even know my last name." The soldiers didn't care. They grabbed him, zip-tied his wrists, hooded his head, and dragged him into the back of an SUV. Hours later, the hood was ripped off. Charles blinked beneath harsh fluorescent lights. He sat in a freezing metal chair inside a concrete interrogation room. 2 officers paced, firing questions like bullets. "Where were you the last 7 years? Who were you working with? How did you survive? Where is the prototype?" Every answer was the same. "I don't know. I don't remember. Please, I don't remember anything." The officers traded looks of irritation and disbelief. Then the door hissed open. The man in the suit stepped inside. Middle-aged, slicked back, black hair, a dark suit, and gray tie. Eyes the color of cold metal. He waved the soldiers away. "Leave us." The room felt quiet. He sat across from Charles, folding his hands neatly. "You truly have no memory?" he asked. Charles searched his mind. "Nothing but fog. No, I woke up on a road. That's all." A faint, unsettling smile touched the man's lips. "Then let me show you where you came from." Charles was escorted down an elevator so deep his eyes popped. The doors opened into a massive underground complex buzzing with machinery. Blue plasma conduits pulsed through the walls like glowing veins. Engineers hurried past, metal grated underfoot. Warning lights blinked everywhere. The man in the suit led him to a colossal chamber. At its center stood a towering, ring-shaped device, half metal, half shimmering energy, crackling with unstable pulses. It looked ancient and futuristic all at once. A machine built to break reality. "This," the man said quietly, "is a temporal engine, the world's first functioning time displacement generator." Charles stared. "You built it, Charles. You were its architect. It's genius." Charles shook his head. "No, I don't. You vanished inside it 7 years ago," the man continued. "During your final test, you assumed you were lost in the rift forever. And yet, here you are." Charles moved closer, touching the cold steel frame, and a violent flash of memory hit him. Screaming, gunshots, a white corridor lit by a growing rift, soldiers dragging people toward the chamber, civilians, terrified, begging, voice his own, shouting, "We can't use this to erase people." His knees buckled. He remembered another figure in the chaos, someone yelling, "Initiate purge, no witnesses." He remembered sabotaging the machine, changing the core configuration, triggering the overload that swallowed him whole. His own voice echoed in his mind. "When I come back, I must forget. If I remember, they'll force me to rebuild it." His memory loss wasn't an accident. It was a failsafe. Charles straightened slowly. The man in the suit watched him with predatory calm. "You designed the engine," he repeated. "You can stabilize it. The world needs this technology." Charles breathed shakily. I think I can fix it." A slow smile spread across the man's face. "I know you would remember your purpose." But Charles hadn't said he remembered. He said he could fix it, and he would. Just not the way they thought. They gave him access, tools, schematics, a sealed chamber with observation windows. Soldiers and engineers watched from behind the glass. Charles worked in silence. On the surface, he appeared to stabilize conduits and realign the plasma core. In reality, he was rigging the engine to detonate, to erase itself, and every blueprint, every backup, every record, with him inside. He was finishing what his past self had started. The collapse would be complete, unrecoverable. The man in the suit would never weaponize time again. When everything was aligned, Charles sealed the chamber door. Alarms blared instantly. "Sir, he locked it. He's overriding the core. We can't stop it." The man in the suit slammed his fist against the observation glass. "Charles, you don't understand what you're doing." Charles looked at him through the rising glow of the core. "I remember enough," he said softly. Then he pressed the final override. The engine roared, pulsing with blinding light. Engines fled. Soldiers dove for cover. Very air trembled. The temporal engine imploded inward. And then silence swallowed everything. No explosion, no fire, no debris. Only absence. Charles Donovan and the strongest weapon ever built were simply gone. Wind, cold earth, a different kind of silence. Charles' eyes opened. He was lying on a dirt road, not asphalt now, but packed earth. Lantern light flickered. The air smelled of wood smoke and horse sweat. Hoofbeats approached. A wagon rolled into view, pulled by 2 horses. The woman called out, "Sir, are you hurt?" Charles pushed himself up, dizzy. This is Pennsylvania, right?" "Aye," the man said cautiously. "Just outside Milford." Charles swallowed. "Where am I?" The man frowned. "On Old Ridge Road." "No," Charles' voice shook. "When?" The couple exchanged wary looks. Finally, the woman answered. "It's October, year of our Lord, 1870. Charles felt the world tilt. The machine hadn't killed him. It had displaced him. 150 years into the past. Far from the weapon, far from the suit, far from anyone who knew his name. Time had swallowed him and spit him out before the world that built the engine even existed. Charles stood unsteady, but alive. He was a ghost to everyone he knew, a stranger in a century not his own, and yet free from the machine that tried to own him. To survive, he would have to adapt, to return home, if that was even possible. He would have to rebuild the science of time from nothing. But one thing was certain: his war with time wasn't over. It had just begun.